Hello YouTubers, fellow hams. I have an antenna to look at. Now I was browsing Amazon, as I do now and then, and every now and then I'll look for ham radio antenna or similar searches just to see what pops up. Always looking for something interesting to fiddle with or review or whatever. And I ran across this antenna from ABBREE. The ABBREE SMA Female Dual Band VHF UHF 18.8 inch high gain soft whip foldable CS tactical antenna for Baofeng, GMRS, and yada yada yada. Tactical? According to Merriam-Webster, tactical, adjective of or relating to combat tactics, or occurring at a battlefront, using or being weapons or forces employed at the battlefront. Okay, tactical? Well, this is it. It does fold over. I don't know why they call it tactical. Maybe they're just, maybe that's just marketing, trying to catch the attention of certain groups or people that look for that kind of stuff. But what it is it is a foldable antenna. Pops right back up. You can see it there. I guess if it was really tactical, maybe they should have painted it olive drab or put a camo pattern on it. Okay, enough about that. What it is, we know what it is. We know what it is a bigger antenna than the rubber duck. Probably a much better performing antenna than the rubber duck. Looking back at the Amazon page, I see that they offer it in several lengths, from 13 inches up to 48.8 inches. None of those are 19, which would be a quarter wave, although 18.8 is pretty close, which is what this one is, the one that I bought. Still, that's not 19 inches, but it does have this little doohickey here at the base, which is probably a loading coil. We're going to take a closer look at that in a moment when we take a closer look at the antenna. All right, in fact, let's do that. Let me put the camera up over here and we'll put this down on the bench and we'll take a closer look at it, and then we'll look at it electrically. Okay, how is this thing put together? Well, let me unscrew what I think is a loading coil, but we'll take a closer look at that in a moment. So, what we've got, this is wrapped with what looks like industrial heat shrink, and it looks like right here there's a couple of pop rivets under there holding what appears to be a, okay, it feels like it's two. Yeah, okay. You're familiar with these, right? Measuring tape. And you've got this curved, springy steel tape, right? It'll bend over and snap back up. This feels like if you had two of these that were sandwiched together, so they bulge on both sides, which makes it a little heavier and a little stiffer, but I can squeeze it in with my thumb on this side and on that side, so it's like this. On the end there is a plastic rubbery kind of cap that must be glued on there because it doesn't come off, so I can't look down and see what the tape actually looks like. But overall that's not too bad. This feels like it's industrial heat shrink that's over this thing. So I don't know if they smoothed the metal edge that's under there or not, but I would imagine that if they didn't, that over time that metal edge is going to cut through this heat shrink as it gets bent, like so. The idea being, though, that you could bend it over. They give you a little Velcro strap that you can put on like that, so this doesn't take up that much space in your go bag, right? you wouldn't be able to operate the antenna like this. I imagine the SWR goes all over the place once you bend it over, but we'll check that too when I get the VNA out. But this is not quite a quarter wave, so I suspect that this is a loading coil. Oh, it's got some printing on it. Made by ABBREE and the web address. Okay, nothing there. Let's get the multimeter out. And let me put this on resistance. See if I can get that where you can see it. Yeah, there we go. All right. Is there, okay, I'm just checking my, this doesn't have a 0 button on it, so I want to see what I'm reading when I'm actually 0 ohms, 0.2. All right. Let's go from the ground of the SMA to the end. 0.2, so almost no resistance there. And from the center pin to the end, nothing. Oh wait, nope. Oh, I'm hitting the edge. Yeah, there we go. Center pin. Nothing. Let's go to 2K. Still nothing. What about from the center pin to ground? Again. Huh. Nothing. So I don't know what kind of, there must be a capacitor. There must be a capacitor from that center pin, because the only continuity I see is from the ground side to the antenna, and I'm reading, well, that says 0.2, but if I short the pins, 0.2. So I'm seeing pretty much continuity from the ground side of the SMA to the end, and nothing from the center pin to the end. So who knows what's going on inside of there. So that's a look at it physically. Let's look at it electrically. Let me get the VNA out, and we'll sweep it and see what its SWR looks like. And then I guess we'll put it on the radio, and we'll see if we can compare it to the rubber duck. I swept the antenna with my blue VNA, and first off, we're looking at here my reference. This is the stock rubber duck that came with the Baofeng, and it actually looks pretty good. Our lowest SWR is 1.24 to 1, right about at 146.3 megahertz, which is pretty much right in the middle of the 2 meter band. I mean, that you couldn't ask for anything better. Now let's look at the tactical antenna. That looks odd. It's under 2 to 1, but that looks fairly flat, like it doesn't have a resonance point there. So yeah, 58 ohms, 1.92 to 1 at the middle of the 2 meter band. You could definitely use it to transmit on 2 meters without hurting your radio. It's under 2 to 1. But to find out where it's actually resonant, I expanded the frequency range, and I swept it again, and I found it's a real goofy curve, as you can see, but it looks like its resonant point is at 126.4 megahertz. This might almost work better as an aircraft band antenna. So yeah, it's usable on 2 meters, but it's certainly not ideal. All right, in order to range test this antenna, I needed a low power transmission so I wouldn't have to go miles away out in the heat out here in the desert. So what I have done is I have the 705 on 146.46. RF power is at 0, which means it'll put out about 150 to 200 milliwatts. And for a dummy load, I have a short piece of coax, and I made a little resistive dummy load here inside of an Altoids tin, so it would be as sealed up and shielded as possible. So it should only leak just a teeny tiny bit of RF. And let's turn the little Baofeng on. And what I've got going on here is FL Digi. I've got it hooked up to the 705 just like I would do for digital modes. I've got the 705 in FM-D, FM digital, which means it's going to take audio from the USB. And I've got FL Digi in CW mode. So if I put in there VVVVV DE KB9RLW and I go into transmit, we should hear CW on FM on 146.46. Okay, you get the idea. Let me take that out of transmit. All right, so what I'm going to do, since this shouldn't be leaking very much at all, probably just a milliwatt or two are going to get out, I'm going to take the radio and the antennas and walk away from the RV and see how far I can get with the duck before I lose signal. And then we'll put on the big antenna and see if it's any better and see how much better, how much further away I can get. So that's going to be the test. Unfortunately, I don't have my phone, so I'm going to have to use the big camera, which will be very difficult to try to hold the camera and the radio, but we'll get it done. So I'm going to start this transmitting and we'll go outside. By the way, anybody who's worried that I'm interfering on 146.46, remember, I am plugged into a dummy load. I am radiating maybe a milliwatt or two. I'm on a fairly unused simplex frequency, and the CW is identifying me. So should be completely legal here. All right, let's go outside and see if we can do this. Oh, it's bright out here. All right, here we go. Sorry about the wind noise. Getting a long ways away. Oh, starting to lose it. Starting to lose it. Can we still hear it? Just barely. Okay, let me switch antennas. I'm going to set the camera down for a moment. Am I still in frame? Oh yeah, I'm still in frame. All right, we can do this. Sorry about the angle. It's sitting on Tony's truck at kind of a cockeyed angle. All right, so there's the duck. Here's the big boy. Should be full quieting with such a bigger antenna. Oh. Barely getting it. It didn't make much of a difference at all. At a certain angle I can get it. That's like not much of a difference at all. Hold on. Okay. See how much further away we can get. about another 5 feet. That's hardly any difference at all. I'm not impressed with this antenna. Okay, I'm going to set the camera down again because I got one more thing to try. Where is it? Here it is. We'll unscrew this guy. Some of you might remember this goofy little antenna. Sounds like it's about the same. Oop. I can get further away with this little loop. Huh. So, between those three antennas, the little loop is the better one. You can just barely hear that it's there. So I got about another 5 feet with the little loop antenna. So I'm not impressed with that antenna, that tactical antenna. Okay. So that's the ABBREE. They couldn't even afford decent adhesive. Their sticker keeps falling off. Tactical antenna. Yeah. Okay, so as you saw from the range test, not much better than the original rubber duck. And as you saw from the VNA sweeps, yeah, it's around 2 to 1 SWR at 2 meters, but man, I don't know what's going on inside this little doohickey here. It's not a loading coil. We could see that we had continuity to the antenna from the shield, from the ground side, but not from the center. So I don't know what's going on in here. I would almost suspect that maybe this is some kind of a load, you know, and the antenna is just tapped off the load so that this actually loads the radio and gives you a usable SWR, and the antenna is not really the resonant load. So yeah, this is going in the trash. Well, I don't know. I might find some useful stuff on here. I might take it apart, take the bolts and things, the connector off. Who knows? You know, I might just tear it up. It's not going on my radio. But for $7, you know, it was worth a look. And maybe I'm saving you guys the time that you would have wasted buying this thing. Don't buy it. It's junk. All right. We'll see you in the next video. By the way, were you distracted by the shiny squirrel? Did you notice it? If you have ADHD, as I do, and you're distracted by things, the Shiny Squirrel Club project might be something you're interested in. There's a link in the video description down below. Go visit that if you're curious what the Shiny Squirrel Club is all about. If you were distracted by the shiny squirrel, it might be for you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Also, if you're not already a subscriber, click to subscribe. Join us on the Facebook channel for discussion about the videos. And if you'd like to help support this channel, please click to support me on my Patreon page.